Captain Maria Santos walked through the busy halls of New Geneva Station. The space colony buzzed with activity as miners, scientists, and families went about their daily lives. Children laughed in the recreation areas while their parents worked to build humanity's first home among the stars. Maria had been stationed at New Geneva for 3 years. She commanded the small defense force that protected the colony. Most days were quiet. Pirates sometimes tried to attack supply ships, but they usually ran when they saw the defense fleet. Maria often wondered if they would ever meet aliens out here in the deep space beyond Earth. The thought scared and excited her at the same time. "Captain Santos, please come to the command center." Her radio crackled. Maria hurried to the military section of the station. Lieutenant Park was staring at his screen with a worried look. "What is it?" Maria asked. "Unknown ships approaching the system. They're big, Captain. Really big." Maria looked at the sensor display. 3 massive vessels were moving toward New Geneva. They were unlike anything in the human database. The ships had strange curves and spikes. Energy readings showed power levels that made Maria's stomach drop. "Are they responding to our communications?" she asked. "We've been sending standard first contact messages for 20 minutes, nothing back. They're just coming straight at us." Maria felt her heart racing. This was the moment humanity had prepared for, but hoped would never come. First contact with alien life. She had always imagined it would be peaceful. Scientists meeting scientists. Trade and friendship between worlds. The alien ships were not slowing down.
"All defense ships, this is Captain Santos. Launch immediately and form defensive positions around the station." The colony's small fleet consisted of 6 patrol ships and 2 heavy cruisers. They were good enough to fight pirates and protect
supply convoys. Against whatever was approaching, Maria wasn't sure they would be enough. Commander Voss of the heavy cruiser Defender came on the comm. "Captain, these readings don't make sense. Those ships are putting out more power than our entire fleet combined." "I know, but we have families to protect. Take your positions and prepare for anything." The alien fleet entered the outer system. Maria could see them clearly now on the long-range cameras. The ships were beautiful in a terrifying way. They looked like weapons that someone had decided to make into art. Every curve seemed designed to cut through space and destroy anything in their path. "Captain, we're getting a message," Lieutenant Park said. "From the aliens?" "No, ma'am, from the other colonies. Kepler's Hope and Titan's Rest are under attack. The same kind of ships." Maria's blood went cold. 3 human colonies, 3 alien fleets. This wasn't first contact. This was war. "Send a priority message to Earth. Tell them we're under attack by unknown alien forces. Send all our sensor data and everything we have on these ships." "Yes, ma'am." The alien ships were close enough now that Maria could see weapons charging. Bright energy built up along their hulls like lightning waiting to strike. "All ships, weapons free. Defend the colony." The battle began without warning. The aliens fired first. Beams of purple energy lanced out from their ships. The patrol ship Mercury took a direct hit and exploded in a ball of fire. Captain Rodriguez and her crew of 12 were gone in an instant. Maria watched in horror as another beam destroyed the patrol ship Hermes. The aliens were not trying to communicate or negotiate. They were trying to kill everyone. "Return fire. All weapons. Target the lead ship." The human ships fought back with everything they had. Missiles streaked toward the alien vessels. Laser cannons fired burst after burst. The Defender and her sister ship Vigilant poured everything into their attack. The alien shields absorbed the punishment without even flickering. "Captain, our weapons aren't getting through," Commander Voss reported. His voice was tight with fear. Maria watched as her small fleet was destroyed piece by piece. The aliens moved through her defenses like sharks through a school of fish. Their weapons cut through human shields and armor as if they weren't there. The Vigilant exploded when 3 alien beams hit her at once. Commander Chen and 43 crew members died in the flash. "Defender, get to the station. Evacuate as many people as you can." "What about you, Captain?" "Someone needs to buy you time. Get our people out of here." Maria ordered the remaining patrol ships to follow her in a desperate charge at the alien fleet. She knew it was suicide, but maybe they could distract the enemy long enough for some colonists to escape. The patrol ship Atlas died first, then the Europa. Maria's ship, the Constellation, lasted 10 more seconds before alien fire tore through her engines. As her ship spun out of control, Maria activated the emergency beacon. It would broadcast their final message to Earth, along with all the data they had collected about the alien attack. "This is Captain Maria Santos of New Geneva Colony. We are under attack by hostile alien forces. They struck without warning or communication. Our defenses have failed. Tell Earth that we tried. Tell them that humanity is not alone in the universe, and not all of our neighbors are friendly. The constellation's life support was failing. Through the cracked viewports, Maria could see the alien ships moving toward New Geneva Station. Flashes lit up the darkness as they destroyed the evacuation ships. The Defender managed to get away with some survivors, but most of the colony's 50,000 people were trapped. The aliens didn't try to capture the station, they simply destroyed it. Maria watched the place that had been her home for 3 years disappear in a series of explosions. The miners who had worked so hard to build something new, the scientists who had discovered 3 new species of bacteria, the children who had been born among the stars and never seen Earth. All gone. Maria's ship was dying around her. The radio crackled with the last message from Lieutenant Park. "Emergency beacon away, Captain. Earth will know what happened here." The aliens finished their work and jumped away to wherever they had come from. They left behind only debris and the bodies of people who had never wanted to hurt anyone, people who had just wanted to build new homes among the stars. As her air ran out, Maria thought about Earth. The planet would receive their message in a few days. They would learn that humanity was not alone and that someone out there saw them as a threat to be eliminated. She hoped Earth was ready for what was coming. The emergency beacon drifted through space, carrying its desperate message toward humanity's home. Inside its memory banks were the sensor readings, the tactical data, and the final words of people who had died trying to protect their families. The beacon also carried something the aliens had not expected. Hidden in the standard emergency protocols was a detailed analysis of the alien weapons and ships. Human computers had been recording and studying every aspect of the attack. When the beacon reached Earth, humanity would know exactly what had killed the colonies. They would know how the alien weapons worked, how their ships moved, and how they fought. The aliens had struck first. They had shown no mercy and offered no chance for peace. They had also made a terrible mistake. They had underestimated the species they were trying to destroy. Admiral Sarah Chen stood in the war room deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. The massive screens around her showed the solar system's defenses, but her attention was focused on the small device in the center of the table. The emergency beacon from New Geneva had arrived 3 days ago. The footage it contained had changed everything. "Play it again," she told her aide. The hologram activated, showing the final moments of Captain Santos and her brave crew. Sarah had watched the recording dozens of times, but it never got easier. Good people had died out there. Families had been murdered by aliens who had never even tried to talk. "Ma'am, the President is ready for your briefing," Colonel Martinez said. Sarah nodded and walked to the secure communication room. On the screen, she could see the leaders of every nation on Earth. The emergency session had been called within hours of the beacon's arrival. For the first time in human history, every government was working together. "Ladies and gentlemen," Sarah began, 3 days ago, we confirmed that we are not alone in the universe. We also confirmed that our new neighbors are hostile." She activated the tactical display. "The aliens attacked 3 of our colonies at the same time. This was not a random encounter or a misunderstanding. This was a coordinated military strike, designed to destroy human presence in space." President Williams leaned forward. "Admiral Chen, what do we know about these attackers? We call them the Zephyrians, based on the markings on their ships. They have technology that appears superior to our standard military hardware. Their weapons cut through our colonial defenses without difficulty." "Are we defenseless against them?" asked Prime Minister Jackson. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "No, sir, we are not." She pressed another button, and the display changed. New images appeared showing massive ships and weapons that made the colonial defense fleet look like toys. "For the past 40 years since we first detected organized radio signals from space, we have been preparing for this possibility. Every major nation has contributed to Project Excalibur. We built weapons and ships designed to fight an enemy with unknown capabilities." The room was silent as the leaders stared at the images. Ships the size of cities, weapons that could crack moons, technology that pushed the limits of human science. "The public knows about our colonial defense forces," Sarah continued. "They do not know about humanity's real military. They do not know about the antimatter warheads in the asteroid belt. They do not know about the gravitational pulse cannons in the outer system. They do not know about the AI battle computers that can think faster than any organic mind." General Petrov from Russia spoke up. "How many ships do we have?" 237 warships, 50,000 automated fighters, weapons that can destroy planets if necessary." Sarah let that sink in. The aliens think they attacked a weak species with primitive technology. They have no idea what humanity is capable of when we are threatened. What are you recommending, Admiral? President Williams asked. Total war, Sarah said without hesitation. These aliens struck first. They killed our people without warning or mercy. They need to learn what happens when you attack humanity. The Chinese premier raised his hand. What about diplomacy? Perhaps we can negotiate. Sarah's expression hardened. Sir, with respect, you cannot negotiate with someone who opens fire on children. The Zephyrians had every opportunity to make peaceful contact. Instead, they chose genocide. We must respond in kind. But surely, the premier began. No. Sarah cut him off. I have watched the recordings from New Geneva 50 times. I have seen our people die begging for mercy that never came. The time for negotiation ended when they pulled the trigger. President Williams stood up. Admiral, you have authorization to use whatever force is necessary to defend humanity. Show these aliens what happens when they mistake our kindness for weakness. Sarah saluted. Yes, sir. Operation Retribution begins immediately. The meeting ended, and Sarah returned to her command center. Around her, hundreds of technicians and officers worked at computer terminals. The hidden military bases across the solar system were coming alive. Colonel Martinez, what's our status on the deep space fleet? Admiral, the Retribution and her battle group are ready to depart. Captain Morrison is standing by for orders. Sarah nodded. The Retribution was humanity's most powerful warship, 2 kilometers long and armed with weapons that could level continents. She had been built in secret in the asteroid belt, hidden from both human civilians and alien observers. Tell Captain Morrison he has permission to engage. His mission is simple. Find the aliens who attacked our colonies and destroy them. Yes, ma'am. What about the other battle groups? The Vengeance will head to the Kepler system. The Fury will go to Titan's Rest. I want every alien ship in those systems destroyed or captured. Sarah walked to the main display, which showed the entire galaxy. Red dots marked the locations where humans had died. Soon, those red dots would be balanced by something else. Ma'am, Lieutenant Davis called out, we're getting reports from our deep space sensors, large ships moving through the Zephyrian systems. It looks like they're celebrating. Sarah's jaw tightened. The aliens thought they had won an easy victory. They were probably planning their next attack on human worlds. Patch me through to all battle group commanders, she ordered. The faces of humanity's best military leaders appeared on her screens, men and women who had trained their entire lives for this moment. Ladies and gentlemen, Sarah said, the aliens made a mistake. They thought we were weak because we tried to be peaceful. They thought we were helpless because we offered friendship. Today we show them the difference between choosing peace and being incapable of war. Captain Morrison of the Retribution spoke first. Admiral, my crew is ready. We've been waiting for this day our whole careers. Good. Remember, these aliens showed no mercy to our civilians. We will show no mercy to their military. Every ship that participated in the attack on our colonies will be destroyed. Make sure they understand the price of attacking humanity. The other commanders nodded. Captain Torres of the Vengeance cracked her knuckles. It's time these aliens learned why humans are the only species on Earth that hunts for sport. Sarah smiled grimly. Launch all fleets. Show the galaxy what happens when you attack Earth's children. Across the solar system, hidden bases opened their doors. Ships that had been waiting in the darkness for 40 years finally saw the light. Weapon systems that had been theoretical exercises became instruments of war. The Zephyrians had attacked 3 human colonies, killing thousands of innocent people. They had expected easy victories against a primitive species. What they were about to face was something no alien civilization had ever encountered. A species that had spent centuries perfecting the art of war against itself, now united against a common enemy. Humanity had always been good at 2 things: exploring new frontiers and destroying anyone who threatened their families. The Zephyrians were about to learn both lessons at once. The real war was just beginning. Fleet Commander Zik 741 floated in his command chamber aboard the Zephyrian battleship Eternal Dominion. His 4 eyes studied the tactical displays showing the 3 human systems they had conquered. The primitive species had been eliminated with ease, exactly as predicted. Commander, his weapons officer reported, our ground forces have finished processing the surviving humans. The specimens will provide useful data for future encounters with similar species. Zix 741 made a sound of satisfaction. The human colonies had been pathetic. Their ships were slow and weak. Their weapons barely scratched Zephyrian shields. It had been less of a battle and more of target practice. "Any signs of reinforcements from their home system?" he asked. "Negative, Commander. Our long-range sensors detect no movement from the Sol system. The humans appear to have accepted their defeat." Zix 741 was not surprised. Most primitive species surrendered quickly once they understood the hopelessness of their situation. Humans would be no different. Within a few cycles, the remaining human worlds would submit to Zephyrian rule or be destroyed. "Sir, we have contacts on the edge of the system." Zix 741 turned his attention to the sensor display. 3 ships had appeared from hyperspace. They were moving toward the Kepler system where his fleet was stationed. "Human ships?" he asked. "Yes, sir, but they are larger than anything we encountered before. Much larger." Zix 741 studied the readings with interest. The ships were indeed bigger than the colonial defense vessels. Perhaps the humans had finally sent their military fleet to attempt a rescue mission. "How many ships?" 3 contacts confirmed. "Wait. Make that 6. More ships are appearing." The sensor display updated as additional human vessels dropped out of hyperspace. Zix 741's eyes widened as he counted them. 12 ships, then 20, then 50. "Commander, these readings cannot be correct," his science officer stammered. "The lead ship is showing a mass of over 2 million tons. That is larger than our heaviest dreadnought." Zix 741 felt a cold sensation in his stomach. The humans were supposed to be primitive. Their largest ships should be no match for a single Zephyrian cruiser. "Show me visual," he ordered. The main screen activated, displaying the approaching human fleet. Zix 741 stared in shock at what he saw. The human ships were massive. The largest vessel dwarfed his own battleship like a shark compared to a minnow. Its hull was covered with weapons that glowed with barely contained energy. Smaller ships surrounded it in perfect formation, moving with precision that suggested advanced computer coordination. "Sir, we are receiving a transmission from the human fleet. Put it through." The screen changed to show a human female in a military uniform. Her eyes were hard and cold as she spoke. "This is Captain Morrison of the Earth battleship Retribution. You attacked our colonies without provocation. You killed our people without mercy. Surrender immediately, or be destroyed." Zix 741 made a sound of anger. How dare this primitive creature threaten the Zephyrian fleet? He activated his own transmission. "Human, you are vastly outnumbered and outgunned. We destroyed your colonies with ease. Your ships cannot harm us. Withdraw now or join your dead colonists." The human captain smiled. It was not a friendly expression. "You made 2 mistakes," she said. "First, you attacked our families. Second, you assumed we were weak because we tried to be peaceful. Allow me to correct that assumption." The transmission ended. Zix 741 turned to his weapons officer. "All ships, open fire. Destroy the human fleet." The Zephyrian ships fired their plasma cannons. Bright purple beams lanced out toward the human vessels, the same weapons that had destroyed the colonial defense fleet with such ease. The human ships absorbed the attacks without even slowing down. "Impossible," Zix 741 whispered. "Our weapons should have destroyed them." "Sir, the humans are returning fire." The lead human ship, the Retribution, fired a single weapon. Zix 741 watched in horror as a beam of pure white energy struck the Zephyrian cruiser Divine Wrath. The ship didn't explode. It simply vanished, reduced to its component atoms in less than a second. "What kind of weapon was that?" Zix 741 screamed. His science officer's voice was shaking. "Commander, the energy readings are off our scales. I believe they are using controlled antimatter reactions." More human ships fired. Each shot destroyed a Zephyrian vessel completely. The aliens had no defense against weapons that converted matter directly into energy. "All ships, evasive maneuvers, return fire." The Zephyrian fleet scattered, trying to avoid the devastating human weapons. But the smaller human ships were faster than anything in the alien arsenal. They moved like fighters but hit like battleships. Zix 741 watched his fleet being destroyed piece by piece. Ships that had conquered dozens of worlds died in single hits. Warriors who had never known defeat were vaporized before they could even scream. "Sir, the humans are launching fighters." The tactical display showed thousands of small objects separating from the human ships. Zix 741 expected to see the kind of fighters his own fleet used, small vessels with limited weapons and short range. What he saw instead made his blood freeze. The human fighters moved without any consideration for the physics that limited organic pilots. They accelerated at rates that would kill any living creature. They changed direction instantly without slowing down. Their coordination was perfect, as if they were all controlled by a single mind. Automated fighters, his science officer reported in a dead voice. No organic pilots. They are controlled by artificial intelligence. The AI fighters swarmed over the remaining Zephyrian ships like angry insects. Each one carried weapons that could damage heavy cruisers. They moved in patterns that were mathematically perfect, never wasting a shot or making an error. Sir, we have lost 70% of the fleet. Recommend immediate retreat. Zik-741 stared at the tactical display. His force of 30 ships had been reduced to 9 vessels in less than 10 minutes. The humans had not lost a single ship. All remaining ships jumped to hyperspace immediately. The surviving Zephyrian vessels activated their hyperspace drives and fled the system. Zik-741's last sight of the Kepler system was the human fleet, moving toward the planet where his ground forces were stationed. Hours later, as his damaged ship limped toward Zephyrian space, Zik-741 received reports from the other attack fleets. The same thing had happened at all 3 human colonies. Massive human fleets had appeared from nowhere. The Zephyrian forces had been completely destroyed. Thousands of alien warriors were dead or missing. Sir, we're receiving a priority message from High Command. Put it through. The face of Supreme, Commander Vorth appeared on the screen. His expression was grim. Fleet Commander, we have received your battle reports. Is it true that the humans destroyed our fleets with minimal losses? Yes, Supreme Commander. Their technology is far beyond what we detected during our reconnaissance. Their ships use weapons we have never encountered. Their fighters are controlled by artificial minds that react faster than any organic pilot. Vorth was silent for a long moment. How many ships do the humans have? Unknown, sir, but if they had fleets of this size hidden from our sensors, they may have many more. Return to base immediately. We need to reassess our strategy for dealing with this species. The transmission ended. Zik-741 looked around his damaged bridge at the survivors of his crew. They had always believed the Zephyrians were the most advanced military force in the galaxy. That belief had just been shattered by a species they had thought was primitive. The humans had ships that could appear from nowhere, weapons that could destroy anything, artificial minds that could outthink organic intelligence. For the first time in his military career, Zik-741 understood what it meant to be afraid. The humans were coming. Ambassador Kenth 9 of the Altarian Republic stared at the holographic display in disbelief. The data his intelligence teams had gathered from across the galaxy painted an impossible picture. Run the analysis again, he ordered his aide. Sir, we have confirmed the reports 3 times. The Zephyrian hegemony's military has been completely destroyed by human forces. Over 400 ships lost in a matter of days. Kenth 9 walked to the window of his diplomatic vessel. Outside, he could see the blue marble of Earth growing larger as they approached. 3 months ago, this planet had been home to a species that barely qualified for galactic attention. Now it was the most dangerous military power in known space. What do we know about their capabilities? He asked. His military advisor, Colonel Thax, activated another display. Based on the wreckage analysis from the Kepler system, humans possess antimatter weapons, artificial intelligence systems, and gravitational manipulation technology. Their ships appear to use some form of faster-than-light drive we cannot identify. How is that possible? Our records show they only achieved interstellar travel 50 years ago. Sir, that may be exactly why they are so dangerous. While older, civilizations like ours developed gradually over millions of years. Humans had to solve interstellar travel quickly. They appear to have skipped entire technological development phases. Kenth 9 studied the tactical reports. Human weapons that could destroy planets. Ships that could appear anywhere without warning. It was the kind of military power that could reshape the entire galaxy. Sir, we have a transmission from the human government, his communications officer announced. Put it through. The screen showed a human female in formal diplomatic attire. Kenth 9 had studied human psychology during the voyage. This one appeared calm and professional, but he could see steel in her eyes. Ambassador Kenth 9, I am Secretary of State Jennifer Rodriguez. Welcome to the Sol system. We appreciate the Altarian Republic's desire for diplomatic contact. Secretary Rodriguez, the Republic extends greetings to humanity. We wish to discuss your species' place in galactic civilization. The human smiled politely. Ambassador, I think there may be some confusion. We are not seeking membership in existing galactic institutions. We are here to discuss terms for peaceful coexistence. Kenth 9 felt a chill. Terms? The safety of human colonies and citizens is our primary concern. We require security guarantees from all spacefaring species. This was not how diplomatic first contact was supposed to work. New species were supposed to petition for membership in the galactic community. They were supposed to accept the guidance of older, wiser civilizations. Secretary Rodriguez, perhaps we should discuss this matter in person. The Republic has much to offer humanity in terms of technology and knowledge. Of course, Ambassador. We look forward to meeting you. However, I should mention that Admiral Chen will be joining our discussions. As the architect of our recent military operations, she has valuable insights into galactic security matters. The transmission ended. Kenth 9 turned to his staff with growing concern. They are not approaching this as supplicants, Colonel Thax observed. They are negotiating from a position of strength. Sir, we have reports coming in from across the galaxy, the communications officer announced. Multiple species are requesting emergency diplomatic meetings with Earth. The hegemony's former territory is in chaos. Some species are fleeing their homeworlds. Kenth 9 absorbed this information. The destruction of the Zephyrian military had sent shockwaves throughout galactic civilization. Species that had lived under hegemony protection were now vulnerable. Others were terrified that humans might see them as threats. What about the Galactic Senate? Emergency session called for next week. The primary agenda item is the human question. Kenth 9 had attended Senate sessions for 2 centuries. Never had a single species caused such disruption to galactic order. The humans had announced their presence by destroying one of the major military powers in known space. Hours later, Kenth 9 stood in a conference room in the human capital city of Geneva. Across from him sat Secretary Rodriguez and the infamous Admiral Chen. The human military leader was smaller than he had expected, but her reputation preceded her. Ambassador, Admiral Chen began. Let me be clear about humanity's position. 3 months ago, aliens attacked our colonies without provocation or communication. They killed innocent families who had never threatened anyone. We responded appropriately. Admiral, the Zephyrian attacks were unfortunate, but surely the destruction of their entire military was excessive. Chen's expression hardened. Ambassador, they attacked our children. In human culture, that means there are no limits to our response. The Zephyrians got off easy. Kenth 9 felt his diplomatic training failing him. Admiral, such thinking could destabilize the entire galaxy. There must be rules of engagement, principles of proportional response. There are rules, Secretary Rodriguez interjected calmly. Leave human space alone and humans will leave you alone. Attack our people and face the consequences. But what about species that were allied with the hegemony? What about trade relationships? What about the established order? Admiral Chen leaned forward. Ambassador, with respect, your established order failed to prevent genocide against human civilians. We are not impressed by systems that allow such attacks. Kenth 9 realized he was witnessing something unprecedented. Humanity was not seeking to join galactic civilization. They were rewriting its rules. What do you want from the galaxy? He asked. Security for our species, Rodriguez replied. Trade opportunities for mutual benefit, and respect for our sovereignty. And if other species refuse these terms? Admiral Chen smiled coldly. Then they can discuss the matter with our fleet. Over the following days, Kenth 9 witnessed the steady stream of diplomatic missions arriving at Earth. The Crystalline Confederacy offered technology exchanges. The Botanical Collective proposed agricultural cooperation. The Maritime Alliance requested human protection from pirates. Every species was being forced to reconsider their relationship with this new galactic power. Sir, Colonel Thax reported, we have confirmed reports that human fleets are patrolling former hegemony space. They appear to be providing protection to species that were previously oppressed. Protection or occupation? From what we can tell, protection. The humans are not claiming territory, but they are preventing other species from moving into the power vacuum. Kenth 9 studied the tactical displays showing human fleet movements across dozens of star systems. They were not conquering worlds or demanding tribute. They were simply making it clear that the old rules no longer applied. Sir, priority message from the Galactic Senate. Kenth 9 read the message with growing alarm. Half the member species were demanding immediate action against the human threat. The other half were requesting defensive alliances with Earth. The galaxy was dividing into 2 camps, those who feared humanity and those who wanted their protection. Ambassador, Secretary Rodriguez said during their final meeting, the Republic has always been known for its wisdom and diplomatic skill. We hope you will help other species understand the new reality. And what reality is that, Secretary? That humanity is not going anywhere. We are not your enemies, but we are also not your subjects. We are your equals, whether the galaxy likes it or not. As his ship departed Earth, Kenth 9 composed his report to the Altarian Senate. The humans had changed everything. Species that had maintained the same relationships for millions of years were now scrambling to adapt to new circumstances. The age of established galactic order was over. The age of humanity had begun. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the observation deck of the massive space station Fortress Alpha, watching construction crews put the finishing touches on humanity's newest deep space installation. The station was positioned at the edge of what used to be Zephyrian territory, a clear message to anyone in the galaxy who might be considering hostile action against human interests. 6 months had passed since the first alien attack on New Geneva. The galaxy was a very different place now. Admiral, the Altarian ambassador is requesting another meeting, Commander Torres reported. Sarah smiled. Ambassador Kenth 9 had been very persistent in trying to convince humanity to join the existing galactic order. He still didn't understand that humanity had no interest in being junior members of someone else's club. Tell him I'm busy. The Crystalline Confederacy delegation takes priority. The Crystallines had been much quicker to adapt to the new reality. Instead of trying to control humanity, they had offered genuine partnership. Trade agreements, technology exchanges, and mutual defense pacts that treated humans as equals. Ma'am, we also have a message from Captain Rodriguez. The Defender has arrived in the Proxima system with the final group of Zephyrian refugees. Sarah nodded. That was another change the galaxy hadn't expected. After destroying the Zephyrian military, humanity had offered asylum to civilian populations that had been oppressed by their own government. Millions of former hegemony citizens now lived under human protection. Any problems? No, ma'am. The Zephyrians seem grateful for the protection. Several have requested to join our scientific programs. Sarah walked to the tactical display showing human fleet positions across 30 star systems. Red icons marked the locations of human battle groups. Green showed civilian colonies and trade routes. Blue indicated allied species under human protection. The map told the story of humanity's rise better than any diplomatic report. In 6 months, they had gone from 3 vulnerable colonies to the dominant military force in this section of the galaxy. Admiral, priority message from Earth, Lieutenant Davis announced. Sarah activated the secure communication system. President Williams appeared on the screen, along with the other world leaders who had authorized Operation Retribution. Admiral Chen, congratulations on the Proxima operation. How is our new galactic neighborhood? Quiet, Mr. President. Word has spread about what happens to species that attack human civilians. Most of our neighbors are very polite now. President Williams laughed. I imagine they are. What's the status of our expansion plans? Sarah called up another display. We have established colonies in 12 new systems. All are heavily defended and positioned to support each other. Our trade routes are secure and we have defense agreements with 6 alien species. Any threats? The hegemony's remnants are still scattered and broken. A few diehard groups talk about revenge, but they don't have the ships or resources to be a real threat. The bigger concern is the Galactic Senate. Still trying to contain us? Half of them are terrified we'll conquer the galaxy. The other half want us to protect them from the first half. The debates are getting quite heated. Sarah had read the intelligence reports from the Senate sessions. Some species were calling for a military alliance to contain humanity. Others were pointing out that such an alliance would likely result in its own destruction. Admiral, President, Williams said seriously, what's your assessment of our long-term position? Sarah considered the question carefully. Sir, we have achieved something unprecedented. We have forced the entire galaxy to acknowledge humanity as a major power. Our colonies are secure, our territory is expanding, and our enemies are defeated, or deterred. But we are still greatly outnumbered. If the galaxy ever united against us, we would face overwhelming odds. Our advantage lies in the fact that most species are too afraid or too smart to test our resolve. Recommendations? Continue our current strategy. Protect our allies, expand carefully, and make sure everyone remembers what happened to the Zephyrians. As long as the galaxy believes we are too dangerous to attack, we can build our civilization in peace. The communication ended, and Sarah returned to watching the construction work on Fortress Alpha. The station would house a full battle fleet and serve as a forward base for human operations in this sector. Admiral, Commander Torres said, We have a delegation from the Botanical Collective requesting escort protection for their merchant ships. Approved. Assign the Vigilant and her escort group. This was how it worked now. Species that had once ignored humanity or seen them as primitives now came begging for protection. Human warships escorted alien merchants. Human colonies provided safe harbors for refugees. Human technology was traded for resources and information. Ma'am, sensor report from the outer system. Large fleet approaching. Sarah's hand moved instinctively toward her weapon controls, but she relaxed when she saw the identification codes. It's the Vengeance Battle Group, returning from patrol. Captain Kim's massive battleship led a formation of cruisers and destroyers back toward the station. They had been conducting exercises in former hegemony space, making sure everyone remembered that human ships could appear anywhere at any time. Admiral, incoming message from Captain Kim. Sarah activated the communication system. Captain Kim's face appeared, grinning with satisfaction. Sarah, you should see the look on the aliens' faces when we drop out of hyperspace. Half of them still can't believe ships that size can move so fast. Any incidents? A few pirate groups thought they could raid shipping in our sector. They were wrong. We also had a brief encounter with some hegemony loyalists. They decided retreat was the better part of valor. Sarah nodded. The pirates had learned quickly that attacking ships under human protection was suicide. The hegemony remnants were slower learners, but they were getting the message. Kim, what's your assessment of galactic stability? Better than I expected, honestly. Most species seem to have accepted that humans are here to stay. The smart ones are trying to figure out how to benefit from the new situation. That was the key insight. Humanity had not conquered the galaxy through traditional means. They had simply demonstrated that attacking humans resulted in overwhelming retaliation. Most species were intelligent enough to learn from the Zephyrians' mistake. Admiral, Lieutenant Davis called out, we have multiple contacts on long-range sensors. Large civilian convoy approaching from Earth. Sarah smiled. The convoy would be carrying new colonists, scientists, engineers, and families ready to build homes among the stars. Each ship represented humanity's continued expansion into the galaxy. Ma'am, message from the convoy leader. They're requesting permission to establish a new colony in the Rigel system. Granted. Assign a battle group to escort them and establish orbital defenses. Sarah walked to the main viewports and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, alien civilizations were debating humanity's place in the galaxy. Some plotted revenge for the destruction of the hegemony. Others sought alliance and protection. None of them truly understood what they were dealing with. Humanity had spent its entire existence preparing for war. Every nation on Earth had military traditions, stretching back thousands of years. They had fought each other across continents and oceans, developing weapons and tactics that older civilizations had never needed to consider. When the galaxy finally met humanity, they encountered a species that had turned warfare into an art form. The Zephyrians had struck first, expecting easy victory against a primitive species. Instead, they had awakened something that had been dreaming of the stars and preparing for war since the first human looked up at the night sky. Admiral Sarah Chen, protector of humanity's children and architect of its galactic empire, looked out at the stars and smiled. The galaxy was learning to live with its newest apex predator, and humanity was just getting started.